Maintaining a secure network, it sure is a challenge. It would really be nice if there was some way to maybe screen and tell if something's wrong. Well, Brian, you were talking about that this morning in the telco breakout breakfast. Why don't you tell us what you guys are doing to protect your network?
Yeah, and the research I'm doing in the last couple of years for our security team and leading through that, you see a lot of information coming from CISA, which is the federal branch that handles security, the cybersecurity and infrastructure security administration. And in that research, I found they actually do a free scanning service if your company provides critical infrastructure, which obviously applies to telecommunications. It's a free service. It was very painless getting signed up. After you submit your information, there's several different things they can do. They can do scanning for vulnerabilities of a public-facing IP range. They do a web application scanning. We'll actually look at your website and vulnerabilities on it. I think they do some other services we're not taking advantage of. I know they do some internal stuff you can set up, but which we didn't take advantage of. We have some solutions for internal scanning. But you set it all up and you get a weekly report. Scans are done weekly. For the IP ranges, for the vulnerability scans, and then the web application scan is monthly. But gives you a very nice report. I think they use a Nessus scanner, which is hosted in, I believe, Microsoft Azure Cloud. And it's a great service.
And so have there been any takeaways from that? Any ahas? We better fix this type of thing for you?
Yeah, our network was pretty secure, but we do a lot of IP assignments for things like different servers from third parties, and we found, I don't want to name any names and embarrass anybody, but yeah, we found equipment that we had set up for our network, like on the video side, VOD catchers, some other VPN firewalls that were kind of old and outdated and had vulnerabilities, and then we're able to work with those companies to get them upgraded and get rid of those vulnerabilities, so just making the overall network more secure.
That's excellent. And that is all part of the program of, I kind of called it the ISO of telecom or, cybersecurity, right? To make sure you're doing things right company-wide.
Yeah, there's a lot of different pieces to security. This is just one of them. You have patching, making sure your software is updated. The biggest threat vector is still the human element, people clicking on the wrong thing, people getting phished and putting their credentials in, which then can be used to hack into your network. So this is just one part of it. You still need to cover those other parts. Again, we use a company called KnowBe4 for the phishing. We send out regular testing. I think a lot of companies use them. They're pretty popular in the service provider space. But yeah, you need a comprehensive solution, and this is a part that can really help.
Yeah, it becomes part of a whole company effort, right? It's not just...
Absolutely. Absolutely. It takes everybody, because it only takes one weak link. One person clicks on something they shouldn't, and you're in trouble.
And so there was one question brought up, concern about, well, gosh, if you get this report and then you don't do anything about it, are you opening yourself up to liability or something?
Well, Mike Jacobs addressed that from the ACA, and he says that he's talked to some people in Washington, and that's not the case, that they're not monitoring these reports. I assume if you go in and you have the reports, you're going to use them and act on them. I guess a slight concern might be if you did sign up for the scanning and you didn't do anything about it, and then they show that you've had this vulnerability for over a year and then you got hacked. Is anybody ever going to see that or know that? I don't know, but it is the government, so there's a little concern maybe, but yeah.
Well, the reality is we should all be concerned about this, and it sounds like anyone really with a website can use this.
Yes, absolutely.
Right.
All you need to be is a service provider. You're in the private space. That's acceptable, and they're looking for people to sign up for the service because they want to make all the networks more secure. So it's a great thing to take advantage of.
Excellent. Well, Brian, thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.